Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs. Welcome back.
Welcome back to another video. Sorry about that. In today's video, we are going to be discussing something very, very exciting and very, very interesting. We're going to be discussing more Doctor Who related theories, speculation, etc. I am going to be discussing the possibility that both Peter Davison playing the 5th Doctor and Sylvester McCoy playing the 7th Doctor will return in the upcoming Centenary special of Doctor Who later this year. But before we jump into that, I will ask that you hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoy this content. Also, a little explanation as for why Mr. Cyberman of Doom is here. Just started production on our Doctor Who fan film, Echoes End 2. This is a sequel to the one that came out in October, and it's been great fun so far, so please make sure you stay up to date with the project. It's hours of work, and we love doing it. But I'll stop boring you with promotion, and we'll just jump straight into the topic of today's video. A few days ago, we got the groundbreaking, earth-shattering, planet-shattering, in Doctor Who's case, universe-shattering news that the Doctor Who Centenary special is going to feature Tegan Javanka, who was the 5th Doctor's, well, technically the 4th Doctor's companion. She was only with him for Legopolis, so technically the 4th Doctor's companion, and then the 5th Doctor's companion, right up until she left in Remembrance, not Remembrance, it's the other one. It's an R word of the Daleks. There's too many R words of the Daleks. We've got resolution, revolution, revelation, resurrection.
Hey, we got there!
Our word of the Daleks was her last appearance. Tegan is played by the wonderful Janet Fielding. The actress of Tegan is quite active on Twitter, which, if you're like me and keep up to date with all the Doctor Who Twitter news and cool kids stuff. I'll stop flapping my hands about because I can already tell there's an angry man in the comments going, "Stop flapping your hands!" So my hands are firmly cemented at my side. But the actress of Tegan is quite active on Twitter, and yeah, she's been saying a lot of interesting things which we'll delve into in a minute. The other returning character we had confirmed was Ace, played by the wonderful Sophie Aldred. Now, Sophie left Doctor Who in its final ever episode. We never saw what happened to her character. She just walked off into the sunset with the 7th Doctor as portrayed by Sylvester McCoy, and we never really got an answer as to what happened. Now, we have got Big Finish, which do all the audio adventures, and I'm sure, I haven't listened to any, but I am sure they do give an explanation as to why or what happens to Ace. Originally, and I think what's called the Cartmel Master Plan, Ace was going to become a Time Lord, she was going to go to Gallifrey, study all of this Time Lord stuff. There was loads of different offshoots of what could have possibly happened to her character, but I think canonically at the moment, there was a book that came out in, I think, October of 2020 or 2021 called Ace, A Charitable Earth. A-C-E. Now, in this book, Ace has this charity foundation, and I think it's based in London, and in the book she meets the 13th Doctor. Now, we don't know whether this is going to be canon to the upcoming story, and if it is, that might throw a few things, a few questions in there. From the trailer, I think it's probably not canon, because Tegan says to Ace, "Oh, I haven't seen the Doctor in years," and Ace says, "Neither have I."
I haven't heard from the Doctor for nearly 4 decades.
Just because it's only 3 decades for me.
So yeah, what about these two characters returning makes me think that there is the possibility we are going to get classic Doctors such as Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy returning in this special as well. Well, Janet Fielding has said this on Twitter, which heavily implies that, there's going to be more surprises, more people coming back. Chris Chibnall keeps talking about in interviews and in the Doctor Who magazine, etc. Matt Strevens, the producer, also said in Doctor Who magazine about this is an episode for those of all ages. Now, I think there's some merit in believing there's the possibility of having a companion from each Doctor or maybe each decade of the show. Janet Fielding here is somewhat implying there are other characters coming back that we don't know about yet. So it does sort of make logistical sense. Also, Sylvester McCoy, this is maybe a bit of a stretch, but Sylvester McCoy's Doctor originally, as I mentioned earlier, the show producers had this whole Cartmel master plan in which the Doctor was going to be revealed to be the other. And there are numerous hints to this throughout Sylvester McCoy's time on the show. He goes like, I am far more than just another Time Lord, and all of these little bits and bobs which he keeps like sort of going on about. He's not just a Time Lord, he's not just the Doctor. And what if, in a story about the Timeless Child or the Timeless Children, the seventh incarnation of the Doctor is there, and maybe for just a short period of his life or something, he finds out the truth of the Timeless Children, maybe he forgets it upon regenerating, some timey-wimey thing like that. Maybe the seventh incarnation has these memories, and hence why he, in his final series, is acting all like this. Now, that might be a bit of a stretch, but I think it would just be quite cool, and we know that Chris Chibnall, who's writing the Centenary special, is a big fan of the 80s. Also, because it's acting as a, like, centenary 100 years of the BBC celebration, it does make sense to bring in some Doctors alongside these companions. However, it might be a little bit too clustered. Like, I don't know, I mean, it would be cool to see them, but unless maybe it's a cliffhanger into the 60th anniversary, it might be too crowded. Now, another piece of, like, this is the main thing that makes me believe these classic Doctors are returning. Not just Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy, but maybe Colin Baker, and maybe David Bradley as the first Doctor. Because back in October, which was the exact time they were filming the Centenary special, all of these classic Doctors were spotted eating together in a cafe in Cardiff. Like, what could Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, David Bradley, everyone, what could all this lot be doing in a cafe in Cardiff while Doctor Who's filming an episode that's also featuring Tegan and Ace? Like, I'm just saying, I mean, the logical explanation, which we have been given, is that they were filming something for a documentary, one of the Doctor Who Blu-ray box sets. And to be fair, that does make a lot of sense. So there's no confirmation and no proof, but it is worth bearing in mind they were all together in Cardiff around the time they were filming the Centenary special. And yeah, it's also worth noting, once again, thanks to Janet Fielding's frequent Twitter usage, that she talks about the fact that Peter Davison knows and knew she was coming back and was excited for it. Now, I think because she signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, does this imply maybe, like this is once again maybe a little bit of a stretch, but does this imply maybe that Peter Davison knew because he's also in the episode and he's also under an NDA and he can't talk about it either? Maybe something like that. I mean, when you start to stack up all the evidence and the fact that Chibnall really wants this to be a celebration of all of Doctor Who history, a big bang for Jodie Whittaker to go out on, and the logistics of, like, the Seventh Doctor kind of knows about the Timeless Children, and, like, you've got the Ace as a companion, you've got the Fifth Doctor's companion, and you've got a bunch of classic Doctors meeting up in Cardiff around the time it's being filmed, it does start to become a bit of a possibility. Now, once again, not confirmed at all, but it would be really cool to see. So let me know in the comments down below, do you think there's any weight to this theory? Do you think I am just, like, clutching at straws here? Because I might be, purely because I love the classic Doctors and really want to see them come back. Maybe it's not going to happen, maybe it is. I mean, whatever happens, I'm sure the Centenary is going to be great because that trailer was amazing. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As I say, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. Check out our Doctor Who fan film Echoes End so you're caught up for when the sequel eventually comes out. Thank you for watching and goodbye.